This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Bahamas, which was made on June 20th, 1973, and came into operation July 10th, 1973.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Self-isolation means taking simple steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, as you would with the seasonal flu. If you've been in close contact with somebody confirmed with COVID-19 or suspect that you have it, self-isolate for 14 days. You can self-isolate by staying indoors and away from family for 14 days. Choose a well-ventilated room with a closed door. Household members should stay in a different room, or if that is not possible, maintain a distance of at least 3 feet. Use a sealed waste basket and double bag your waste before disposal. Limit movement in your house. Stay in your assigned space away from the rest of the household. The caretaker will bring food and anything else you need. Use separate cookery and cutlery. Use a separate bathroom and clean it regularly. Use separate towels, separate cleaning linens, and clothing. If you are in need of care by household members, limit the number of caregivers. Assign one person who is in good health and has minimum risk conditions. Most importantly, remember, do not invite others over. Should you or anyone you know feel that you've been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the COVID-19 hotline at the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 376-9350, 376-9387, 300-2619, or our 24-hour hotline at 502-7382. For more information, visit covid19.gov.bs.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
I am extremely disappointed when I see Bahamian companies laying off individuals who had worked with them 10, 20 years.
Be considerate. Be compliant. We need you to do this.
Phased approach to businesses resuming, expanded testing begins, and police on high alert. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and welcome to the morning edition. This weekend's lockdown ends with a return of that 24-hour curfew as local health officials look to build on their successes and further curb COVID-19 numbers. No talk of COVID-19, though, is complete without some focus on its economic impact. To that, the Prime Minister yesterday shared a bit of good news for some businesses. Auto stores, plant nurseries, hardware and home stores, as well as Gladstone Road Farmers Market are all able to resume business this week. We're also told of the economic initiatives expected to boost the economy during and post this global pandemic. Altaviz Munnings explains in this report.
When it comes to addressing the national economy during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Finance has been coordinating with the National Insurance Board, the Small Business Development Center, and the Department of Inland Revenue to make sure money is getting into the hands of thousands of Bahamians in need. And add to that, $25 million the Ministry of Finance has allocated to help small businesses with payroll support.
The Bahamas entered the COVID-19 pandemic with adequate foreign reserves to cover essential imports and to preserve the parity of the Bahamian dollar against the U.S. dollar. The central bank is working closely with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that fiscal stabilization policies are balanced with adequate additional access to foreign currency through the borrowings which the government must undertake.
Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis pointed out in his national press conference Sunday that those stabilization policies will uphold domestic spending on essential needs, which must be satisfied through imports. He also noted that although government can acquire local financing, they must rely on some foreign currency borrowing to cushion the revenue shortfall.
Taking this active financing strategy into account, along with other foreign exchange market strategies that the central bank is pursuing, it is expected that the drawdown in foreign reserves will reach about $1 billion in 2021. This from a present healthy level of approximately $2 billion. The central bank expects that after 2020, net inflows of foreign currency through the private sector will begin to improve.
The Prime Minister has acknowledged that the COVID-19 pandemic is a global health and economic threat, and it's on that premise that he has assembled an economic recovery committee to advise government on the safe and gradual reopening of the economy.
During a meeting with the proposed members of the Economic Advisory Group, we discussed a number of issues: e-commerce, diversifying the economy, accelerating foreign direct investment projects, restoring the macroeconomy, and tourism. We will have to think boldly and creatively to boost jobs and economic activity, especially in terms of domestic production, tourism, construction, and local and foreign investment.
Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Sunday's national address also found the Prime Minister issuing a strong appeal to business owners who are in a strong financial position to do so to pump the brakes on laying off employees for as long as possible.
I am extremely disappointed when I see Bahamian companies laying off individuals who had worked with them 10, 20 years, who had made them wealthy, who had given them the opportunity to send their children to university, both here and abroad, who have given them opportunities for their children to become professionals and leaders in this country, who have given them opportunity to live in lavish homes and have great lives, individuals, Bahamians, who are from humble beginnings, but who have made sacrifices to make fellow Bahamians wealthy and living good. And yet, after all the sacrifices these Bahamians did, those who have attained wealth have laid off such Bahamians. I ask you, are you humane? Where is your heart? Where is your compassion? Do you have a soul?
Meantime, early this week, physicians, nurses, and medical technologists will head out into the community as testing expands. Here's who will be targeted.
Contacts of confirmed cases, especially those with symptoms. Healthcare personnel nearing the end of their quarantine period. nursing and home care personnel, and individuals calling onto the hotline reporting concerning symptoms.
And news of such comes as the confirmed number of COVID-19 cases moved up by another 2 this past weekend to 60, 51 here in New Providence, 7 in Grand Bahama, 1 in Cat Key, and another in Bimini. The new case is a 53-year-old man who's in hospital and a 67-year-old man who's isolating at home. Now, that said, health officials are still wrestling with what Special Advisor on COVID-19, Dr. Mercelyn Dowell-Regis, acknowledges is a large number of people who are in isolation but not compliant.
We haven't come up with a good solution yet. We are still exploring several things, not only the electronic bracelets. We're looking at some GIS monitoring. We're looking to the telecommunications grouping. We're looking at some apps, but we have not come up with a solution yet. And we're working feverishly to identify what might be the best option that doesn't violate one's confidentiality in terms of the personal confidentiality, but also protects the public.
Now, Dr. Dowell-Regis again stressed to those in isolation that they're there for a reason.
Be considerate. Be compliant. We need you to do this. Again, all I can do is appeal to you as we explore what might be the preferred option for monitoring of those not only in isolation but in quarantine.
Well, as expected, the South Beach Health Center has been converted to a COVID-19 urgent care and referral center. That center officially opens today. For more details, we spoke with Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, this morning.
We would like to see that we can, as best as possible, minimize the number of COVID patients at Princess Margaret Hospital. This is an imperfect science, and we would have seen where a patient admitted to the ward with signs and symptoms not typical of COVID ultimately turned out to be a positive, and we've had to shut down a ward even in the setting of limited bed availability. And so to have South Beach, to have the module available to manage patients outside of Princess Margaret Hospital, and the same thing at the Rand, will give us some isolation to manage these patients and also provide a level of security for the health care workers.
Walk-in patients must meet the criteria for moderate mild illnesses associated with COVID at the entrance to be permitted for services at the South Beach Clinic. Furthermore, no visitors will be allowed on the premises. Well, a COVID-19 case, as you just heard, and a patient forces the closure of the medical surgical ward 2 of the Princess Margaret Hospital. Now, in keeping with protocols for tracing and treatment, then, there will be no further admissions to that ward until further notice. Officials also confirming that all remaining patients on the ward have been tested for the virus. Furthermore, contact tracing for those who were previously discharged from Medical Surgical Ward 2 has begun, coupled with exposure assessment for all employees who would have had direct contact to the confirmed patient. Well, still to come in the morning edition, how health officials prepare for possible COVID-19 challenges among inmates. Stay with us.
Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, I'm on television.
I don't have a TV in there.
We have Wi-Fi, though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up and start over again.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Present check.
Miss I's a star now. I still got to pay?
Welcome back. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. DeLon Brennan's laying fears of any reported COVID-19 cases at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. He says his team remains on guard and is ready to respond to any possible outbreak at that facility.
They are constantly surveilling not just for COVID-19 but for other infectious diseases as well. So we have what we call syndromic surveillance. So there's a daily line list that's put together of any people with fever and respiratory symptoms, and any other sort of syndromes that might be linked to an outbreak that will be going on. So that's a daily occurrence for us. And so far, as it relates to the Department of Correctional Services, we have not found any increase in our numbers that would suggest that there's a concern going on right now, but it is a concern for us. And if we were to start seeing any of those symptoms show up, we would then institute testing within the facility. So we would look to either doing testing of the officers themselves that are coming in or to prisoners that were coming in, or our medical staff if necessary, to make sure that we weren't necessarily missing something. And then we would be able to institute protective measures as soon as we saw any of those issues occurring.
Meantime, the World Health Organization studying the possibility and likelihood of a vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic. Having spoken with the key players, Director General of the organization also updated on the COVID-19 impact in the region.
I spoke to President Emmanuel Macron of France, Bill Gates, and other partners to discuss how to prevent another pandemic by getting vaccines from labs to people as fast as possible and as equitably as possible. The commitment from President Macron, from Bill Gates, and also from Prime Minister Boris Johnson is heartwarming. I also spoke to the Prime Minister of Barbados and the current chair of the Caribbean countries about the challenges faced by small island developing states in gaining access to test kits and other supplies. No country should be left behind. And I would like to use this opportunity to appreciate the strong leadership by the Prime Minister of Barbados steering the response in the Caribbean.
Now, in the event you had some far-fetched idea to use the curfew or lockdown to commit a crime, it's wise you think again. Just ask the alleged owner of a liquor store operating in breach of the emergency order. Police Commissioner Pastoral with an update on investigations into that video making the rounds on social media.
We have the owner of that premises. He is in my custody, and I'll be putting him before the court. I've also asked the Deputy Commissioner to look into the allegations pertaining to the involvement of police officers. That is an ongoing matter as well. And I'll come back to the public, as I said in my release, and inform the public of my decision.
When we return, hotel workers getting additional assistance. You're with the Morning Edition.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but we are not on vacation. We are staying at home to ensure we remain healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19. Remember to regularly and thoroughly wash hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Maintain a safe distance between you and someone else with a cough or sneeze. Remember, it's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
COVID-19 continues to impact the Bahamas and the world.
The Ministry of Health has confirmed 5 cases of COVID-19 in the Bahamas.
ZNS Network is here to keep you informed on this growing pandemic.
We are in a race against time.
With team coverage, hourly updates, news, and special reports with information that is important to you. ZNS Network is your best choice for COVID-19 coverage. No other station covers the Bahamas better.
Let's stay COVID-free. Remember the 3 S's. Sanitize, social distance, and stay inside.
Public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
The coronavirus has struck all around the world, and to some degree it's bringing the world to a stop. But that doesn't mean that your education has to stop. The Ministry of Education is making available to you learning through virtual learning platform. So go to the ministry's website, ministryoфeducationbahamas.com, and go on the button that says virtual learning and register today to participate in virtual learning. We will do our best to provide you an opportunity to continue your education. We only encourage you to make sure that you're disciplined and orderly as you go about ensuring that you take full advantage of this opportunity. Thank you very much.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but we are not on vacation. Remember to stay at home to avoid the spread of COVID-19. Social distancing is very important. Remember, it's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
The Salvation Army continues its outreach to impact the needy. The organization launched its online services, and beginning today, distributions will be made to a number of people who submitted requests. Divisional Commander Major Clarence Ingram says the initiative is necessary due to COVID-19 demands.
We have set up a link on our website at the Salvation Army Bahamas. There's a link there called Social Assistance. When people click on that, then there's an application form that can be filled out. So you can fill it out either on your smartphone or on your computer and just click submit. And then we receive the form and review it. And after we've reviewed it, we will make a phone call to the person who submitted the form and tell them what time they can come in for assistance. So this way we have an appointment system rather than just everybody coming and lining up and not knowing how to manage a crowd.
Salvation Army is hoping to provide assistance to 50 families per day, and Major Ingram says based on their assessment, the demand at this time is quite urgent.
From our point of view, the demand is overwhelming. We could not begin to meet the entire demand, and I think all of the other organizations would be in the same situation. We're just hoping that together, if everybody helps somebody, then together we can help those that are most in need.
Well, now on to our pastoral motivation with Pastor Orlando and Clarice Thompson of Global Outreach Ministries and James Siston, Eleuthera.
We've come by with some encouraging words for you, our friends. The Word of God declares from the Psalm 46 that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. We want you to know that a refuge is a place of provision, a place of protection. It is a place of peace. It is a place where God hovers over his children, hallelujah, and keeps them safe from all impending danger. To all of our frontline workers that are out there making sacrifices during this difficult time in the life of this country and indeed the world, we salute you, and we want you to know that we're praying for you, and we want everybody else to know that we might be in this right now, but our God, through his grace, he is going to bring us out of this.
Be encouraged, everyone, for the Lord our God is with us. And no matter what we're going through, we're coming out of this stronger, better, and wiser. We love you, and we are praying for you.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School's closed, but we are not on vacation. Often check the Ministry of Education's social media platform for accurate updates on your studies and national exams. These include the website at www.ministryofeducationbahamas.com and the Ministry of Education Facebook page at Ministry of Education Bahamas or Twitter at Bahamas MOE. Do not listen to fake news. It's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Let's get it right, Bahamas. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay 6 feet apart. Remember to always practice physical distancing.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and this television station.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water, apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
Grand Bahamian artist Matthew Wildgoose is allowing Facebookers into his studio where he is working on a number of art pieces. Here is Jimenita Swain with the story.
All right, I'm Matthew Wildgoose. I'm doing an art show. I'm doing an art show because I have the time now to sit down and think about an art show thoroughly. And now we have stories. We have stories to tell. For about maybe the past year and a half, we had some major stuff happening that has never happened around the world and, of course, the Bahamas. So these are our stories. This is what the artist, the poet, the players of instruments, the singers. This is when we come out.
Wildgoose uses music as he paints, and while he creates pieces for his art show, he takes the audience along via Facebook Live.
These pieces that I've been doing on Facebook Live, these are part of a bigger project. Of course, I'm passing the time, but also I'm killing two birds with one stone, in that I'm also using this time now to prepare an art exhibition.
The artist suggests everyone make good use of their time during the curfew and lockdown, which could be considered a blessing in disguise.
We all have things that we pushed that are important, but we pushed to the side because we got caught up doing other things, right? I myself, I run a business, I have an art gallery in Port Bucaya, and that had me going, and whether it was sipping paints, the merchandise, the art classes, or the open mic nights, that had my time, that had everything. And now that we're on this curfew, the silver lining is that now we have time to pick those things back up that we've been putting to the back burner so long.
Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, let's get your exercise groove on for those wanting to maintain the fitness after the weekend. And for that, here's Natasha Brown.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to another week of dynamic workouts. This this morning, you're only going to use your area. So make sure it's already sanitized. And if you're doing it with anybody else, you will practice social distancing. This is probably going to be one of the most hardest workouts you would ever do at home. We are going to leave everything on the ground this morning. Remember, our immune system, our mental toughness, and courage just to be able to show up after a weekend to do a strong routine like this is all we're gonna need to fight and win the war on the coronavirus. Ready? Let's get into stretching. Sit back into the heels. Take the right hand across the chest at the same time. Yeah. Ready? Let's switch. Sit into the left heel. Take the left hand across the chest. Make sure your core is tight, you're breathing well. Let's come together. Place the hands into the air and hold it strong. Let's go ahead and do a tricep stretch. Relax, take the elbow all the way. Make sure the elbow is up to the roof and not hanging here. Because of all of the upper body exercises that we're going to be doing, let's switch. We want to make sure that we stretch from head to toe. All right, we've got 5 strong exercises, and after I move off the scene, I'm challenging you to go and finish your 3 sets of all of the exercises we're going to do this morning. Because of time, I'm only going to be able to do 5 to 10 reps of every exercise, which will give you enough to see what I'm doing so you can now go ahead and do it. Ready? We're going into 2 frog jumps into a half burpee. Ready? 4, 3, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go ahead and take it into arms. What we're going to do here, we're going to pull the knee into the chest. We're doing this for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, beautiful. Now guess what? We've got mountain climbers for 20. Hold it right here. 4, 3, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? The next thing we're going to do, plyo push-ups. You want to be on your knees? For any of my men who are doing it, you can actually do it the way you get it, like that. Everybody else, you're going to take it from the knee, take it all the way down. That's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, final exercise. You're running for as hard as you can. Remember, I'm only going to run for 20 knees, or you're going to go for 45 seconds, 20 seconds left. Ready, go. Keeping you healthy, fit, and energized. Make sure if you're going out today, please take your mask. If you don't let go at all, stay at home and help us save lives. Tomorrow, the workout's going to be for our children. So children, get ready. I've got an awesome routine for you tomorrow. Take care and enjoy.
Well, many of you are pet owners, have little choice but to now be your pet's groomer. Well, owner of Paula Pet Parlor provides some tips to keep your four-legged friends in tip-top shape.
Many of us who are pet owners may now have to groom our own animals as the emergency orders have mandated that those businesses close. Well, Kareem Brancaccio of Caccio's Pet Parlor provides some tips to keep your four-legged friends in tip-top shape. Take a look.
So tip number one, comb and brush. It's very important to comb your dog properly and brush before you give your dog a bath. And with the bath, I would suggest you use Adam's Thick and Fleece shampoo and all-in-one. The reason being is so that if your dog do have any tips or fleas, it can help combat against those pests.
Kareem suggests after shampooing the pet, a good conditioner should be applied.
Get a nice blow dryer, we all have this at home, and put it on a warm setting, cool to warm. That's the way fine. Now, after we blow dry our fur baby, the next process would be to get scissors, a blunt. Scissors will be fine. And if you don't have any stray hairs around the eyes, you want to trim those away, around the feet, and also by the bum, so that it will be free from hair.
Once dried, he suggests misting your pet with a nice essential oil spray. Ticks and fleas may also be of concern, so he offers a solution to that.
What you would need is a spray bottle, organic apple cider vinegar, water, and some essence oil. So what you would do is fill up the spray bottle halfway with apple cider vinegar, water, and add a few drops of either lavender or peppermint oil. Shake it up and mix your pet morning and evening.
And for those of you who may want to trim the paws, he suggests a clipping tool be used. However, if you don't want the hassle of giving your pet a bath, baby wipes may be handy.
Take one out, wipe around the muzzle, the face, and the eyes, and also the bum, especially from coming from outside, from using the outdoors. You can also wipe the parts of the feet, because we all know that with these little critters, they love to jump in your bed and in your couch. So with that, we would like for them to be nice and clean.
Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, you're watching the Morning Edition. There's more to come after this.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed love.
The ZNS community page now has its own home on Channel 230. Be sure to tune into this channel to see informative notices, funeral announcements, birthday greetings, and much, much more. So watch the ZNS community channel today on Cable 230.
More assistance on the way for hotel workers impacted by the COVID-19 closure of resorts. Thousands of them will be presented with vouchers today to ease the burden a bit. Our Lloyd Allen is live at Workers' House. Lloyd?
Yes, good morning again. For several weeks, the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union has been at a standstill as a result of dozens and hundreds of employees being laid off as a result of national measures against COVID-19. This morning, some relief on the way by the union being led by its president, Darren Wood, who is joining me this morning. Darren Wood says that this morning they expect to serve well over 1,000 persons in line with some vouchers that will assist them with food and other supplies as they go through this national crisis. Good morning, Mr. Woods, and tell us about what's happening this morning.
Well, good morning, Mr. Allen, and good morning, Bahamas. What we are doing, what you're seeing here is our commitment to the workers of this country. This pandemic that we're now faced with is unprecedented, and so we had to come up with an initiative to bring some relief to all of the workers. And we are now issuing them the vouchers that we promised that we would do. This is not anything new. Anytime there was a downturn in the economy, a major downturn, the union was able to give something back to the workers. But this one, as I indicated, is actually nationwide. The last time we did it was on a smaller scale where hotels would have closed. Now we have all of the major hotels closed and the restaurants in which we represent. And so this is the first day of 4 days to complete this task that we've been given the permission to do today.
So obviously, your efforts are staggered, as you said, over several days. Mm-hmm. What properties are you hoping or seeking to assist today?
Well, today we're dealing with the Malia Hotel, the Ocean Club, Harborside, Restaurants Bahamas, Bayview Villas, and the Town Hotel, which gives us just over 1,000 persons. And then tomorrow through Thursday, we would deal with the Atlantis property proper. And then on Friday, anyone who would have missed their day, because what we've been asking them to do is come on your assigned days, which will kind of reduce the numbers spilling over to another day.
Now, obviously, this is a $1 million effort. A lot of money is being spent today to assist those persons. Talk to us about the financing behind this effort.
Well, the thing with it is, until we would have had the discussion with our membership, there's not much we can say because our constitution limits us to where the business of the union can be discussed, and that's at Workers' House during a membership meeting. But what we have done is, and we want to also clear up a misconception that was reported that the members would have to pay this back. This is already paid for. It's a benefit that is being extended, and all they need to do, and the persons need to do, is come and collect it. And the details we will discuss with them once we get into our meeting.
Now, we obviously can see a queuing system. Talk to us about how the system works.
Well, originally, we got the permission to do a drive-up. But because of the amount of persons that were here and the traffic backup, the police took a decision to try to clear the streets and have people walk up. But as soon as we get this line down, we will revert to what we were given the permission to do. They have kind of relaxed the permission just to get the roads cleared. And then tomorrow we'll definitely put things in place as it relates to the police to ensure that the streets are not blocked up. But what we've done is we've actually gone by properties where they could line up and get it. But we were anticipating it just persons just driving up, picking up, and driving back out.
Now, obviously, with the turnout of persons here today, this tells us definitely many of those in the hotel industry are definitely now in need of some assistance.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is when we originally planned this, we were actually planning 3 weeks out after the initial closure or the downturn because they would have still been receiving some pay. But as things began to collapse, we had to try to move quickly to get the programs in place while we were negotiating with the other entities, i.e. government, employer, and the union, all coming with their vested stake in this. And what we now see is the union stepping up to assist the workers of the country to ensure that we are able to bring some relief to them. And then what we understood also is that the NIB unemployment benefit has started for some of the hotels, and for the others, they're still working to get most of them out of the way.
My final question, is this a one-time effort, or will other efforts continue, even beyond financing, will other efforts continue from the union?
Well, definitely we have to look at what happens now, because for us, we actually have to now think about what is to happen with the opening of, as the Prime Minister indicated, some of the businesses. How does that happen? But for us in the tourism industry, unless things start to happen on the outside, is nothing much is going to happen for us on the inside. So we now have shifted to another gear to talk about what is the next step, what we now have to do to ensure that the assistance and or relief continues for a time.
Well, some good information. And of course, your hands are full this morning, working with well over 1,000 persons. And so, of course, we will definitely continue to follow this story. Reporting here from the Hotel Union's office, Lord Allen for the morning edition. We'll take a break, and the morning condition continues after this.
Weather Report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Now time for your weather forecast. High pressure ridge will continue to produce fresh to strong winds over the Bahamas. However, this will be pushed aside by unsettled weather associated with an approaching frontal system by Tuesday. Now, the risk of waterspout activity remains for mariners in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Meantime, in the northwest Bahamas, the weather is variably cloudy, hot and breezy with a slight chance of isolated showers, especially in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Small craft advisory is in effect. Winds south to southwest at 15 to 25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet. In the central and southeast Bahamas, the weather's mostly sunny, hot and a bit breezy, becoming mostly fair and warm tonight. Small craft caution is in effect. Wind southeast to south at 15 to 20 knots in the central Bahamas and east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots in the southeast Bahamas. Seas 4 to 7 feet. There's a daytime high temperature of 93 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 34 degrees Celsius, and an overnight low temperature of 79 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. Low tide 1:18 p.m., high tide 7:26 p.m. Now to those home videos and activities in lockdown.
Thank you to all the healthcare workers out there. While most of us tend to obsess about our own families and individual health, you out there helping others in need. And for that, we are entirely grateful.
You are our heroes!
It has been tough.
So we thank you for your sacrifices. Many are fighting alongside you, so never be disheartened.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We salute you!
You are an ordinary person facing extraordinary circumstances.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do, for your compassion and the sacrifices you make to ensure the health and well-being of all diagnosed with COVID-19. We appreciate you.
We really appreciate and support everything that you're doing for us.
Thank you.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
You are our heroes because you risk your lives every day to protect our Bahamas while making it healthier.
Thank you.
Thank you and bless you to all that's helping in the cause.
We thank you.
We thank you.
Well, just a reminder, keep those videos and pictures coming in on how you're passing time in the government-imposed lockdown, or if you want to salute those on the front line, the number 477-0546. Remember to stay tuned to the ZNS Network, your best choice for local, regional, and international COVID-19 coverage. We are the only station providing you with live radio and television updates throughout the day, giving you up-to-the-minute information. Our coverage continues at 10 on radio and then on the television network. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, I remember the place where I was born, where things were peaceful, remote and blissful, where people work for small rewards. I remember, yes, I remember when fun was playing in the yard. We used to laugh and play and run around all day. We used to jump and prance and do the jumping net. We got
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose auto scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
Agent, before we send you out in the world, we must make sure that your mission is intact. Yes, Mom! Agent 1, what is a touch? Physical contact, Mom. Agent 2, what is a good touch? Touches that make you feel alright, Mom. Such as? A high five, a handshake, even a kiss, Mom. Good. Now, Agent 3, what is a bad touch? Touches that make you feel not so good, Mom. Like a slap, a kick, a pinch. And most important, if someone touches your private part. And what do we do when someone gives us a bad touch? We tell a trusted adult, Mom. For help, Mom. Tell them, don't do that, Mom. Agent, I see that you understand. Now it's your mission to spread this information. Just remember that good touches are okay. And bad touches are not okay. So, Agent, go spread the word. Yes, Mom.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cove, and for many years, I've taken pride in introducing young Bahamians and international visitors to the wonders of our Bahamian underwater world. Our marine ecosystem helps to keep our tourism industry and fisheries sector healthy and lucrative. We must all do our part in protecting it for future generations. And that is why I ensure our staff and customers are taught about the importance of coral reefs. I do this and more to protect our underwater life because I care. Do you?
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
There is a reported health crisis here in the Bahamas, and food is central to the problem. It's not the lack thereof, but rather what we as residents are choosing to consume on a daily basis and the negative health impact it is having on our lives.
Here's your grilled chicken salad with extra sweet pepper and cucumbers. Enjoy.
Thank you, Gloria. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer, and welcome to another episode of Agriculture Now. In today's program, the focus is on healthy living, which includes healthy eating for a lifetime and related activities.
You are what you eat. And, you know, all of these old cliches, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, turns out to make a whole lot of sense. So what we recognize is that what we put in our bodies has to be healthy, that it has to be green and colorful, that it ought not have a whole lot of processed sugar and chemicals, and that if the most active thing that you do is to work the remote control, you are not going to make it. Bottom line.
Parents, there is some important information coming up that involves your children as well as you. That and much more when Agriculture Now comes back.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
Welcome back to Agriculture Now. The Bahamas is in a health crisis and, according to industry experts, is experiencing an epidemic and has been in this position now for as long as 2 decades. Health officials say we are not just overeating, but eating too much of the wrong foods too often. In fact, they say the Bahamas is leading the Caribbean in obesity, and reports are that we rank 6th in the world.
To keep it simple, we are sick. We are sick.
And all because of food?
All because of food and lifestyle. Pretty much we are digging our graves with our teeth.
Time is long overdue, health stakeholders advise, to break cultural tradition of that Bahamian meal that many of us eat on a daily basis. The fried chicken, peas and rice, French fries, potato salad, macaroni, fried plantain, and the list goes on. Coupled with dessert, possibly at the same sitting.
The challenge for Bahamians is our cultural definition of normal is 2 or 3 times bigger than many other people. So when we look at the international definition of overweight and the international definition of obesity, 80% of us are either overweight or obese, which means that when you put Bahamians in a ranking next to every other person in the world, we wind up number 6 in the world of obesity. So our women are disproportionately heavier. Our children are also very heavy. So we are finding obese children at a rate dramatically higher than we did a decade ago and 2 decades ago. I would say that we have seen a doubling or tripling of rates of obesity over the last 20 years among our children. And that is a frightening problem. It is not a whole lot different than what's happened in the rest of the world, but we're starting off from a worse point.
Childhood obesity is at an alarming rate, not only in the Bahamas, but worldwide. Over the last 10 years, we've seen an increasing number of children with obesity, and as a result, from the medical standpoint, we're now seeing children with increasing episodes of hypertension, high blood pressure. We're now seeing an increasing number of children with diabetes. These children are having elevated cholesterol levels, and it can also lead to sleep problems such as obstructive sleep apnea, bone problems such as osteoarthritis, and other issues. So it's a very concerning issue that's plaguing us in the Bahamas.
It is estimated that 45% of children here in the Bahamas are either overweight and obese. The numbers are substantially higher in the adult category, with 80% overweight and obese.
A lot of our parents, in terms of feeding, they're overfeeding the kids. A lot of our kids are picky, and not only that, some of our kids have issues with crying, colic, and parents as a result overfeed our kids.
Industry experts say a lot more of what people need are fruits and vegetables. With the problem of obesity and overweight prevalent among children at an earlier age, residents are being encouraged to eat more seasonal fruits and fresh vegetables that are stocked in abundance at markets across the country. Better still, health officials are also suggesting more residents consider for economic savings